media hype and technology can be mean to our children in a, well, not just positive way, also in a negative way as well. And another big role of mine is I'm a mother of 2 children, and this is my girl when she was 2. And you love this video.
어떤 거네요? 굉장히 온라인 팀도 온라인 팀.
Yes. Very, very interesting, right? This is not uncommon in, I think, any household these days. So if you think about it, our children are very unique generations. So they are born, the first generation, they're born and raised in this pervasive, hyper-connected digital world. So if you're thinking about projecting your childhood to your children, it's a wrong start because they're like a new species living in both digital world and physical world. So we have to understand these children first. So worldwide, it's a Korea data. The children start to play a video game less than 3 years old. And by the time about 10 years old, they have their own devices, iPad, iPhones, and whatever devices, personal devices. And they spend more than 15 hours per week online, which is longer time they spend together with their families or the time they spend in school. So if you think about it, what they do online, who they meet online, can be much more influential than parents or teachers. So what do they do in the digital world? So when we look at our data, they watch video, yes, and they play video game. These are top 2 using mostly mobile. But is it all positive? The data actually shows that, well, it is not at all positive. 90%, more than 95% of children access to obscene materials before age of 12. This is a Korea data, which is 2007 data, so which means that now it's almost 100%. And this is US data, about 50% of children have involved in sexting voluntarily. And it's Korea data. The 50% of children have access to rated R game. This is not under 18, it's among the primary school students. And it's worldwide data, around 40% of children around the age of 8 to 18 years old have experienced cyberbullying online. Korea, 70%, China, 70%, Singapore, about 60%. So it is quite a daunting issue around the world. And this is also worldwide data, around 10% of children in advanced ICT countries. US around 11%, Singapore around 9%, so around the 10% of children are addicted to video game. Unfortunately, Korea topped on this number. We are about the 50% of children are addicted to a video game. So what does it mean? If we have to think about, okay, this is a number, horrible. So what does it mean to our children? I believe the biggest issue is about the desensitizations, about the violence, obscenities, and hatred. The children becomes what they see, right? This is who we are. And they observe everything around them like a sponge. And it is not a rocket science to expect that. When they are exposed to this violence or obscenity since young age, it's natural for them to desensitize to this issue. And if you think about the porn, yes, is they see the other people as a sexual pleasure object. They see females or children as a sexual object. If you think about the hacking, is seeing the other people as monetary gain. Cyberbullying, the same thing. They see other kids as object of the ridicules and mocking. Violence, well, I don't have to talk about it. So the biggest issue I see is eroding of human values. So they don't see the people as individuals who have the human rights and worthy to be respected, rather than they start to see as object. Then, how do they use digital media and technologies? So it really happens in Korea. When you meet with the young kids, they don't look at your eyes. They are sucked into the mobile devices. And they don't even talk to each other, right? They talk through the mobile devices. So if you look at the children, they are usually super busy. And we are so amazed by their multitasking ability, right? So when they do the homework, they have to watch video, and they do the texting, WhatsApp, and whatever, right? So our question is that, are they really good at multitasking then? So when I look at the Singapore data, about the 70% of children are doing the multitasking even when they're doing the homework. Then, is it increasing their ability of multitasking? But research show actually otherwise. They're switching their attention, not doing the multitasking. So more they do the digital multitasking, they become less capable of real multitasking ability. So children nowadays, brains are so wired in constant stimulations, constant distractions. So why people are so addicted and why our children are so sucked into the device? Because nothing in real life can give such a pleasure, instant gratification. It's not possible in the real life. So this day, everything has to be gamified. They need to get some gratification, instant gratification. Otherwise, they get bored, right? They get bored. They're super bored. There's where the addiction comes from. I'm not so sure if there is not much Asian population or audiences here. And there was a very recent cases. 11 years old boy cut his finger off because his parents told him, it's 11 years old, it's just average kids, told him to stop smartphone game. And of course, it's an extreme case. But unfortunately, this is not that uncommon news in Asian setting. So why is it that? Because children are getting impatient. I think it's not just children. We're also getting impatient. They need constant provocations. So Mike just introduced about infollution. What is infollution? It's a side effect of information. We call it information pollution. Side effect of informatizations. Children are living in this digital world, and there are so many infollution out there. True information, false information, deceivingly work together, right? And then good content and harmful content together. So it is very difficult to distinguish these two infollution out of their digital life. Then is there a proper guidance from the teachers or parents? Very difficult as well, because this is 24/7, right? And then parents and teachers usually have a generational gap, and not just a generational gap, digital divide among these generations. So it is our children exposed to a lot of infollution by themselves without proper guidance or proper protections. What about the government, the policy? Of course, we're very working hard to protect our children, but it is impossible from the policy level if you think about it, because the speed of changes of technology is so fast, and whereas the policy cannot catch up the speed. So children are exposed to this infollution helplessly. So what does it mean? Summing up, I think infollution is like to me, infollution is like a dark cloud covering the clear sky. So meanwhile, I think our children are losing ability to think, ponder, and meditate, deep thinking, and ability to discern. That's what I call erosion of human values. So are we going to cut off the internet from our kids? A lot of Asian parents try to do that, but of course it will be impossible. It is already impossible. Now, welcome 21st century. Internet of Things are here. So if you disconnect your children from laptop, your refrigerator will talk to your kids. So we are surrounded by all these devices and internet, and the internet will be like the air. So we cannot escape and say, we can protect our children by desegregating from digital world. And another actually big issue is about the artificial intelligence and other technology advancements. If you think about our children, their competitors are not just their peer groups. Their competitors are super smart machines now. I'm not so sure if you're following the last week, the historical event in Korea. There was a big match between the AlphaGo, which is Google's intelligent machines, artificial intelligence, versus Mr. Lee Se-do. She is a world champion of Go, Asian chess. So Mr. Lee is obviously one of the smartest person in this planet, right? By walking. The result is it's not really happy news. Mr. Lee lost 4 out of 5 games. Well, it actually shocked entire Korea. Yes, trust me. It's very official. Yes, machines have better IQ than us, and they're self-thinking now, and they will evolve much more faster way. So, my daughter, you saw her. She's now 6 years old. And then, if you think about it, when she grow older, and when she get a job, it will take about 15 years, if she graduate college. And we already gave a verdict today that my girls' generation's economical value is less than AlphaGo, the machines. So we are all worrying what kind of job our children will have, right? Because AlphaGo can do better job with low cost, with less errors and less risk. So our current education system usually try to focus on raising the higher IQ. When you, especially Asian parents, if you ask them, oh, I want my kids to go to Harvard and become a medical doctors or the top lawyers. But unfortunately, AlphaGo will be a better lawyer. AlphaGo will be better doctors. So there is a report saying that 80% of jobs within, especially the white-collar workers, will be gone in a few decades, right? So now, everybody's are so afraid. And then we're thinking about what is our competitive edge, how we actually change our education system for them to survive in this fast-changing digital world. So we talk about EQ. Okay, this is the competitive edge that human can have versus AlphaGo or super intelligent machines, right? So they have to increase the creativity, they have to increase empathy, communications, and we should train them with the coding skill and STEM, which is very relevant. Yes, we have to focus on that. But I think we want to one step back and think about what are we really afraid of, right? Don't you think that comparing our children with this machine itself is a super a signal to see the eroding of human value, right? Because technologies has been developed for humans, right? Machines are developed for humans. Digital medias are developed for humans. But we actually go the other way around. So this is our suggestion. This is a very critical time to redefine our children. We talk about a lot about the pedagogy, what kind of education we have to do, what kind of skill set we have to equip for the future job markets. But I think more importantly, we have to define our children differently. And we have to restore our human values. This is very important. And when we see our children, we define them as who they are, who really they are, not afraid of being subjected by the machines or subjected by Infollution. When we define them as a digital leader who can master over the technology, who can create a better future, utilizing this technology is critically important. So I, not just because I have 2 kids, I want to boldly declare that our new generation, our digital leader generation, who can do something that previous generation can ever think of, right? So when we redefine them who they are, and actually we flip the coin, right? We flip the coin. They have a lot of obstacles. That means they can become a resilient overcomer from the young age, you know? And there are a lot of channels, 24/7, online predators or online radicalization can come over to him, come over to our children. That means they have a voice, big voice, to influence the billions of people, right? In the same channels. So with that spirit,
the digital world is an exciting place of dreams, creativity, and connections. But it is also a place that can bring stress, sorrow, and destruction. Information and identities can be stolen. Trolls harass people for no reason. Violence and pornography are common, and bullying and shaming can be so cruel and cause great harm. Kids today grow up looking more at screens than faces.
We have to change because, yes. Can we play this video? Don't worry, I will fast forward.
Trolls harass people. Kids today grow up looking more at screens than faces. This constant attention to technology is leading to reduced social skills and a lack of empathy. Technology has minimized our most core human value, the golden rule, to treat others as you would like them to treat you. So what is the solution? Let's start young, really young. Let's plant seeds of awareness, empathy, and resilience. Teach kids how online behavior has real-world impact on those around them. Give them fun and inspirational tools to be healthy, happy, and smart.
Okay. Somehow we have a bit of challenges. But I have a backup.
The happy and smart users of digital technology. IZ Hero is a digital leadership initiative that empowers kids with essential skills to become digital leaders by fostering core human values. Empowerment is fun and intuitive. Our comprehensive research-backed program includes games, comics, stickers, stories, and videos designed just for kids. Going beyond the digital world, IZ Hero aims to teach value-based digital intelligence to the children of this new era. Technology changes constantly, but values are enduring. IZ Hero encourages our kids to look outside themselves at the people and world around them. IZ Hero aims to not only educate kids about risk and safety online, but to create the change makers of the future, who have the integrity, compassion, and courage to make the world a better place. But it takes a village. We work together with an alliance of parents, schools, NGOs, universities, corporates, governments, and international organizations. Through school visits, exhibits, and an online platform, we attempt to reach out to all kids, whether through the digital world or in person. We want to make every kid a digital leader. Join the IZ Hero initiative now.
Okay. Yes. So, well, actually, the idea was very simple because I was mom and I was looking at my kids interacting with digital media and devices, and I called it Pokemon approach. I work with government, Korean government, Singapore government, try to find the best way to talk to kids about the digital issue. Because it's so natural in there around the surrounding. For instance, game addiction. None of game addicted kids think that they are addicted to the game. So this is a very high level concept. So we try to communicate this with our kids and then say, okay, why don't we actually make it into something fun and playable? So So we make all the monsters, type of bullying monster, we have all this monster and then put it into animation format. So children, while they're playing and seeing these videos and playing the game and interactive portal, they understand this concept. So this was, we started this initiative together with the Singapore and Korean government and through the university. And then I want to quickly show some of the results that we have done. Basically, we did okay. So I want to share some of the research results that we have done. We wanted to see our approach of what we call the transmedia approach to telling kids about the digital issue is effective or not. So we built the exhibition in Science Center, National Science Center in Singapore, and then we run the experimental study to test the mentor programs, because we actually create a mentor program, primary 4 and 5 teaches primary 1, 2 and 3 students using our exhibition. And also we are using not just exhibition, we go to the assembly programs, and also we have a web game. So it's a multi-systematic system, the approach. So we try to look at this is study design of experimental study. The 6th dimension, especially the attitude towards online risky behaviors, including the personal information and offline meetings of online strangers, and game addiction, and also cyberbullying and pornography. Perception about IZ Hero program. Children like it? Yes, they love it. Of course, compared to other programs, our programs are much more fun, and it's using a game-based approach. So it is not surprising to see that, okay, this is much more fun. But more interestingly, we get the higher feedback that they found it helpful. I was very grateful to see that they say it was helpful for them to understand cyber safety concept. So basically, around 90% of children say they found it helpful, and also they found it fun. Sorry that this slide is not very readable. So we look at the pre-test and post-test in both mentee and mentor groups, whether they have changes, significant changes in the 6th dimension of attitudes. And we found that all the 6 dimensions have a significant improvement. But especially when we compare to the control group, what are the most significant changes are the 3 areas: so offline meetings, and game addiction, and cyberbullying. Why this 3 dimension out of 6? Because there's a couple of reasons, research-wise. But my personal guess is that these are the 3 dimensions that we really focus in repeatedly in both exhibition as well as the online game. So it's very natural when they hear more in a different venue, they get the higher learning outcome. Yes. So we found that, okay, so this way of talking with children are effective. And we wanted to see, actually we run the 2 years in nationwide initiative in Singapore. And we work with almost 90% of primary schools in Singapore, also in some schools in Korea. But we still found that there's a gap in understanding and awareness among the people. Why is that? So we researched it very closely. The two things actually comes out. One, when we focus on the digital safety itself, it can turn off the people because they have to use this internet anyway. And then by knowing, okay, this is not safe, but I have to work on this, it's giving them a dual standard and dual feeling. So it's not a much empowerment going on. And the second thing is that there's not much metrics assessment for teachers and parents to visualize where their children and students are standing at. So these two issues, in order for us to tackle these two issues, we came up with the framework of digital intelligence. So digital intelligence is encompassing not just as digital safety, every life skills and every practical skills that children have to equip. So we found the 8 dimensions. The first, very important, is digital identity. So it is important for them to understand about their being in digital means that they're instantly global citizen. So global citizenship and global digital citizenship has to be incorporated in the learning. And also they need to know how to manage their online identity, online image, and online reputation, so that that will affect their identity offline as well. The second thing is about the digital use. So they should know how to exercise their self-discipline to be both online and offline effectively. They should know how to control their digital time. They should know how to control their multitasking. They should know how this digital time and digital interaction can affect their mental and physical health. Third is about the safety. Yes. We want our children to be responsible. We want our children to be wise because digital safety is usually very hidden, not very trivial. So cyberbullying, online grooming, the access to inappropriate content, all this has to be taught in a young age. And security, of course. This is a very practical issue. And our children have to learn how to become a street smart, to detect phishing and all this malware, and how to protect their password and so on. And this is a very critical piece as far as I see. Emotional intelligence in digital field has to be emphasized. So because if you think about the empathy, how does it apply in a digital way? They have to understand how these people's heart, even in the, for instance, Snapchat, Facebook posting. So even if they don't see each other, face to face, we want our children to have emotional intelligence to understand the other person's intention and heart and improve their relationship. And communication, of course, this is very critical. It's starting from understanding what his digital footprint means and how they effectively communicate, but in a very humble way, because collaboration, communication skill will be key critical 21st century skill. And literacy, yes, they have all that, but they also need to have a skill set. They know how to search, they know how to create the content, they know how to evaluate the content, with the critical thinking. And digital rights. And I think it is absolutely important for us to teach children about the privacy and copyright and freedom of speech and all this. Because, the Mark Zuckerberg has already announced that the privacy is gone. But if you think about it, privacy is our human right, basic human right. Let our children say, nobody can say their privacy is gone. So this is nonsense. So we want to train our kids to say, this is your basic human right, and you have to keep it online and offline. So when we have this framework, we want to measure. Yes, I'm a statistician, so I have to measure everything. So we developed the DQ, Digital Intelligence Quotient. So this is a new program that we are developing right now. So we are going to launch this DQ platform, personalized online education platform, together with the Singapore government and Korean government, as well as ICT companies in both countries in July. So in the first version, we want to cover very basic learning about the digital intelligence topics. The identity, we want to say you are an innovator. So we are measuring the creativity, we are measuring their ability to manage online identity, and screen time ability, and critical thinking, for them to discern right and wrong information, and good and bad contents, and how to discern the stranger risk, and privacy management skills, empathy, digital footprint, cyberbullying, and digital security skills. This is very rough mock-up. The real graphic will be very pretty, hopefully, because I created this slide, so my staff are much better than me on this. So basically what we try to cover is that we will send, when children play this online platform, and at the end of all the missions, the parents will receive this report. And actually this is a very simple report, but each item will give the more sub-item about their each skill set. So that they will know, parents will know where their strengths and where their weakness in digital intelligence, which will be the huge step for parents to help their children to boost their confidence in what they're good at, also help them to avoid some of the critical risks they should avoid of. What is this? Yes. So IQ is very important, yes, for sure. EQ is definitely important. Why we say DQ is important in digital era? Because I believe that DQ will give the signal to the parents and educators to understand the readiness of our children in the digital field. And we hope to utilize this tool to empower all stakeholders. For children, they will learn definitely through the online platform, and we create it as a self-learning tool. So children can use this platform at any time and any place, and then they will get the microcredit, and so they get the certificate of this 8 dimension. But when they're done, as we explained, parents will receive a DQ report. And then the more important thing is that a lot of parents will not know how to interpret or sometimes how to deal with the situation. For instance, my kid, somebody kids say, oh, your kid have a risk of game addiction. Then the parents will freak out. So rather than being freaked out, we want them to learn how they can improve their parental mediation in media. So we are making a parental video to help them to learn about this issue from the parents' perspective. And also, we are going to send the report to the schools and teachers so they can actually early detect the children at risk. Yes, so what we want to hope is that we want it to be a social initiative globally. One thing that we found is that this is really a global issue. It's not just one country's or one single parents or school issue. So we work with the multi-stakeholders, we are very grateful for our funders in companies, Intel, LG, and Google's. They're good partner of us. And we are working with, collaborating with government agency, which is also very critical to be effective. And community partner is almost critical because even if we develop the program, it has to be someone who brings this content to our community members. And we are now working with the World Economic Forum to make it into global initiative. And currently, we are going to be sure in launch in Singapore and Korea from July this year, and India and some of the African countries later this year, and explore the DI concept. And Indonesia and Philippines also, we are talking with them about how to roll it in the national level. And I'm very firm believer of partnership, especially in this regard. It has to be collaborative work. And I'd like to hear your feedback. I'd like to work with you individual level and site and whatever organization to improve the state of our children's next generations of digital world status. Okay, thank you very much.